Have you ever had a moment where something felt just a little wrong? A place you visited 100 times suddenly feels different. A memory you would swear is true turns out to be completely false. A coincidence happens at the perfect moment, almost as if someone or something is pulling invisible strings behind the scenes. We spend our entire lives believing we understand reality, but what if we've only been shown a tiny piece of the picture? What if the world around us isn't exactly what we've been told? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might start questioning things you've never doubted before. And if you enjoy exploring the mysteries hiding beneath everyday life, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another journey into the unknown. Most of us trust our senses without thinking twice. We believe that if we can see something, touch it, or hear it, then it must be real. But science has already shown that our brains don't experience reality directly. Instead, they build a version of reality using signals from our eyes, ears, skin, and every other sense. Your brain is constantly filling in missing information, correcting mistakes, and even creating details that aren't actually there. That means the world you experience every day isn't reality itself. It's your brain's best guess. Think about optical illusions. A perfectly still image suddenly appears to move. Two identical colors somehow look completely different because of the background around them. Even after you learn the trick, your brain keeps falling for it. It's a reminder that our minds can be fooled surprisingly easily. But optical illusions are just the beginning. Have you ever been absolutely certain that you remembered something correctly, only to discover you were wrong? Maybe you remember a famous movie quote that was never actually spoken that way. Maybe you remember a logo looking completely different from how it really is. Millions of people sometimes share the exact same false memory. Some call this the Mandela effect, while psychologists explain it as the brain reconstructing memories rather than replaying them like a video recording. Whatever the explanation, it forces us to admit something uncomfortable. Memory isn't as reliable as we want to believe. Now imagine standing alone in a familiar place and suddenly feeling that something has changed. Not dramatically, just enough that you can't explain it. Some people describe returning to a room that somehow feels different, even though nothing obvious has moved. Others notice landmarks that seem slightly out of place. Most of the time, there are perfectly ordinary explanations involving memory, perspective, or attention. Yet these experiences leave people wondering whether reality is more flexible than it appears. Stories like these have existed for centuries. Across different cultures, people have told tales about strange places where time seems to move differently, forests that create an overwhelming feeling of being watched, or locations where people lose all sense of direction despite knowing the area well. Modern psychology often points towards stress, expectation, environmental factors, or the remarkable suggestibility of the human mind. Even so, it's fascinating that similar experiences appear in cultures separated by thousands of miles and hundreds of years. Perhaps the greatest mystery isn't the world itself. It's the brain experiencing it. Neuroscientists estimate that our conscious awareness represents only a tiny fraction of the information our brains process every second. Countless calculations happen beneath awareness. Your heart beats, your breathing adjusts, your balance shifts, your eyes constantly move, and your brain filters out enormous amounts of information before you're even aware of it. Imagine how different reality would feel if your brain stopped filtering everything. The world might become so overwhelming that you couldn't function. This idea leads to an interesting question. What if reality isn't hiding from us? What if our own minds are protecting us by simplifying it? Evolution didn't necessarily reward seeing everything accurately. It rewarded survival. If simplifying reality helped our ancestors stay alive, then perhaps our perception evolved to show us what we needed, not everything that actually exists. Technology adds another layer to this mystery. Artificial intelligence can now create incredibly realistic videos, voices, and images that never existed. Virtual reality can convince your brain that you're standing on the edge of a skyscraper while you're safely inside your living room. As these technologies become more advanced, distinguishing between genuine experiences and manufactured ones may become increasingly difficult. If digital reality can already fool our senses today, imagine what will be possible in the future. Some philosophers have even asked whether reality itself could resemble a simulation. There is no scientific consensus supporting this idea, and there is no definitive evidence proving it. It's simply a philosophical thought experiment that encourages us to think differently about consciousness and existence. Whether or not such ideas are true, they remind us that many of our biggest assumptions deserve thoughtful questioning rather than blind acceptance. Maybe that's the biggest lie we've been told. Not that someone is secretly controlling reality, but that we've already figured it all out. The universe continues to surprise us with discoveries that challenge what we thought we knew. Every year brings new findings about space, the human brain, consciousness, and the hidden forces shaping our world. Instead of making reality less mysterious, knowledge often reveals just how much remains unknown. So the next time something feels slightly off, don't immediately jump to extraordinary conclusions. But don't ignore your curiosity either. Pay attention, ask questions, look for evidence, stay open-minded while remaining grounded in critical thinking. Because the greatest adventures don't always begin with finding answers. Sometimes they begin with noticing the questions everyone else stopped asking. Now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced a moment that made you question reality, even if you later found an ordinary explanation? Or do you think there are still mysteries that science hasn't fully uncovered? Share your experience in the comments below, and if you found this video thought-provoking, send it to someone who loves exploring life's biggest questions. At the end of the day, reality may not be exactly what we think it is. Not because of secret conspiracies or hidden forces, but because the universe is far more complex, fascinating, and mysterious than our minds can fully grasp. Every discovery pulls back one curtain, only to reveal another waiting behind it. And perhaps that's what makes being human so extraordinary. The search for truth never really ends. And maybe the greatest mystery isn't what's out there, but how much more there still is to discover.